Welcome to Football Discussion Daily. My name is Joe, and I'm here with the co-host
CGO.
CGO or George. Today's the 28th of March, 2026. If you like us, please subscribe. Please like us. We release long form, 15, 20 minutes on YouTube every day, shorter form on Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms every day. All right, big news today. There's a lot of international friendlies, no games with World Cup, direct World Cup qualification implication. Obviously, a lot of these teams, they have basically 3 games left before the World Cup. So a lot of these teams are trying to get ramped up, figure out who their starting lineup is going to be. So today, in some big games, Hungary beat Slovenia 1-0. Japan beat Scotland 1-0. Canada drew Iceland 2-2. Senegal beat Peru 2-0 in a game which they showed off their AFCON trophy beforehand, kind of trolling the Moroccans a bit. It's kind of cool. Ivory Coast beat South Korea 4-0. Yes. Mexico and Portugal are just kicking off as we're announcing this, and Haiti is losing to Tunisia 0-1 at halftime. And in the big game today, United States lost to Belgium 5-2. And George, I think we should start off talking about this, spend most of our time talking about this. In this game, George, do you feel like the U.S., do you feel like this result is justified?
No. The result is unacceptable if you ask me. Even if if they had lost this game, maybe by a slim margin, that would have been very good. At least that would be, let me say, it would be fair enough. I won't say it would be good, but fair enough. Because if you look at this Belgian team, players like Lukaku are not in this. They didn't play in this game. Thibaut Courtois was not in this game. Those guys were not. They didn't. They were not. They didn't feature them in this game. And to have lost to the Belgian team 5-2, to me, I think it's not something that is very great. First half, the United States played very well. They had a couple of chances, which they didn't convert. Fortunately for them, they were able to convert their first goal from a cross from Anthony Robinson, which Weston McKinney was able to convert. And then I think everywhere was looking very lively. We're thinking things will work in their favor, not until the guy called Zeno the Bast was able to get that equalizer. And that goal was a very well taken shot from outside the box. That is his first international goal for Belgium. That was a very good one, a good goal from the guy. And I think after that equalizer, it seems everything just changed. The US team collapsed. I didn't see much. I didn't see them taking control of the game because before the equalizer, they were more. It was as if they were in control of the game. Second half, they were very poor. And then the good thing is that Belgium brought in a guy called his name is Dodi Lukebakio. The guy came in and he was very, very fantastic in this game. The guy plays for Benfica. He got a brace in that game. And if you look at the 2 goals he scored, they were brilliant goals.
I saw both goals, and I'll say the second one was fantastic. The first one was one of the worst. I mean, he took it well. Like he beat the defense in front of him, but the defense did not close down several passes. They gave Belgium several yards in the box. To call that a great goal is, I feel like, it's giving too much credit to the U.S. defense. I felt like they were very poor on that particular goal. And credit to Luca Bacchio for finishing that. It still takes skill to carve through that, but it was not a great goal. That's the other one though was fantastic.
Yes.
I feel like U.S. did nothing wrong defensively. Luca Bacchio had a fantastic finish, and from what I saw, the U.S. defense across the second half was not good at all.
Very poor.
And I feel like in general, I feel like they're going to really struggle. I mean, to in this World Cup once they run into good teams like Belgium is. So interesting.
The coach, they still have time to work on that because this is why you play friendlies. Because one of the problems you notice with the US team today is that they weren't closing down Belgians, and the Belgians were able to take that opportunity. Because if you look at the first goal that Dodi Lukebakio scored, you see that they gave him too much space, and that was why he was able to play that. I mean, to shoot the ball, and he went straight into the net. You don't give such kind of space. So what it means
It
that
wasn't just him they gave space to. It was all throughout the move. Like he passed it and then he moved into the box and like it was like a 1-2 almost and like all three of these players within the US box had time to take two touches like without and still have a yard of space that should not happen at a professional international level with professional players. I'd be yelling at my 40-year-old 5-year-old teammate tomorrow if he gives a guy time to take two or three touches in the box without closing down. That's absurd.
even the goal that Onana also scored, which is short, you will notice that there was nobody that was closing down on Onana. And that was why he had all the whole space to shoot. And the ball went straight into the net.
And
So,
Onana's a fantastic player, and he's not known for his goal scoring though. I mean, I don't know. Has he scored this season in the Premier League? And he's a great player. He's just not a goal scorer.
well, I think he has scored in the Premier League. I remember there was a game. I'm trying to remember the game where he scored a goal. He shot from also outside the box. But the issue is that the US defense, Mauricio Pochettino, really has to do a lot to make sure they are very formidable. If not, they will struggle at the World Cup with this kind of performance. So that's one of the deficiency I observed about this team. A lot still has to be done. They still have barely 2 months to the World Cup for them to work on these weaknesses if they really want to go far. Because it will be very embarrassing as a host nation if you don't go past the group stage. That's not something that the fans will be happy about.
I mean, George, the fans not being happy about it or like how happy their fans going to be does not impact performance. Like, yes, of course, no fan is happy if they lose, but like it's not consequential towards because the US has more fans that are being upset and Belgium will have less does not mean the US is more likely to succeed. The US, again, I feel like the last 25 years, US has a lot of money and a lot of people, and therefore US has some baseline that they're going to qualify for most World Cups, and they'll beat a good team every here and there. I mean, but they're running into this ceiling that unless they fundamentally change how they train their young players, I just don't feel like they can consistently beat the Spains, the Frances of the world, who have set the bar in terms of how you train youngsters the last 30 years. Spain and France have bottom up systems where if you're a talented 6, 7 year old, the big clubs in Spain and France pay your parents to play, and the US just doesn't have that. In Spain and France, if you're 16 and you are good enough, you will play in La Liga. You will play in League One if you are 16. That does not happen in USA. It's a detriment of our players, and until that changes, I feel like there's a ceiling to how good US players can be, and there's a ceiling to how good U.S. performances can be, and maybe we'll luck our way into a round of 8 or semifinal here and there in major tournaments. But it's really tough to beat these other countries that really have that. Belgium also has that same training structure I've talked about. They just have a lot less people, and than Spain and France. So it's really interesting. I mean, I was talking to somebody like, do you think that Jeremy Doku is better player than Christian Pulisic, George? Was I talking to you about this, or is it somebody else?
I think we spoke about it. For me, if we look at today's game, Doku had a better game than Christian Pulisic. But if we look at when it comes to being more, let me say, clinical in front of goal, I think I will always choose the Christian Pulisic over Doku. Doku can always beat the people playing fullbacks, but when it comes to being clinical, that's where I always have challenge with Doku. His end product is not always very fantastic, and that's where Christian Pulisic has a cutting edge over him. If you that's my own assessment of both players.
Well, first off, number one, I do feel like Christian Pulisic is way too much as in his early, even especially in his early mid-20s to call a truly great player. Number two, I agree with you that Doku doesn't have end product, but he's really good at everything else. He can beat a guy and put a ball in the
Yes,
box. He's honestly not a selfish player either. He's really good about drawing a second player in and giving the pass out, and he's really smart. I feel like Pulisic a lot of times takes too much upon himself, especially at an international level, and says, I'm going to do this, and takes on too many players. I saw it against England in the last World Cup. He tried to do way too much, in my opinion. It's a detriment to his performance. I feel like if he had just played his own game, he would have been a much more effective player at an international level. I also feel like Doku does it in a much tougher league. Pulisic is in Italy, which is a lot less physically draining. Obviously, there's tactical. They're very tactical and professional there, but not necessarily as physically draining. So I think Doku's a better player, but that doesn't necessarily train. I mean, in a single game, I don't feel like I'm basing this on years, not just a single game. Pulisic is the best, in my opinion, still the best American offensive player, and I'm excited to root him on as an American this summer.
No, honestly, Pulisic, remember he played for Chelsea, and when he was in Chelsea, I won't say he had a bad time. One of the problems he had at Chelsea was the constant injuries he suffered. And I remember he also had same issue when he was playing in Borussia Dortmund. Injury has always been his challenge. And I guess one of the reasons why Christian Pulisic always got injured is based on his playing style, always liking to take on players, trying to dribble too much. When you hold on to the ball too long and you play against opponents that are very physical, most likely they will get you injured. And that's what happens most times when you hold on to the ball for too long. That's why Christian Pulisic suffered a lot of injuries. So I think for me, going to Italy has really helped him because I have not seen much of that injury he suffered when he was in the Premier League and also in the Bundesliga. So that's the thing.
Yeah, and Bundesliga is also a much more physical league. Maybe not as quality as Premier League, but certainly almost as physical. Interesting, George. Another interesting point, George, that I didn't realize before today. I think there was 3 or 4 players on this team, on the USA team, who are MLS players, and this is basically a month, 2 months into their season, when a lot of the European players have been in a rhythm for 8 or 9 months. Do you feel like that impacts the USA players very much? Like a guy like Tim Ream is 37, 36. He's a month into a season. Do you feel like this is something that he might be more in a rhythm in a June game?
I know there was a time he was playing for Fulham, right? And then
Yeah, but right
uh,
now he's in MLS right now.
yes. So, but for a league that has been on for 3 months, I don't think that should be an excuse because somebody who has been playing for 3 months should be fit enough to play a game of this nature. And now, if you look at Bodo Glimt, remember their league has already ended, but yet we saw the kind of good performance they were able to show in the Champions League. So I don't think that should be an excuse for them not to perform. And Tim Reams was one of those who also made the game very easy for Belgium today. Remember, there was a ball that hit his arm, and then that led to the penalty. That I
Yes.
think that was the third goal of Belgium, if I'm not wrong. That was the third goal. As soon as they got that third goal, I knew it would be very, very difficult for them to get back into the game. So I don't think that is an excuse. What I feel is that the coach need to make sure the setup and the structure of the team defensively is okay. That's where they lacked it today. Today the defense looked a bit porous, especially in the second half. It was terrible watching them defending. They weren't defending very well. Poor marking, poor defending was what really affected them in the game. And when you start conceding, then you start losing confidence. That was what
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
to the team today.
Most of international coaching is about instilling confidence. Like the tactics are a lot less complex at an international level, just because you have so much less time to practice. It's much more about squad selection, about instilling confidence. Pochettino, I think he'll do about as good as he can. I think that again, America is a fan base in general that has outsized expectations for their team. I think that this team is fully capable of beating a Belgium, a France, a Spain in a one-off. I think we've definitely beaten Spain and Belgium in the past. I don't know about Spain, France, but this is not a team who I feel like can beat 2 or 3 great teams in a row and make a giant run in this World Cup. I personally would be thrilled if we got to the group if we got to the knockout phase. And I feel like last World Cup losing to a Netherlands team that was better than us is a fine performance. I think we lost to Belgium in 2014 as well. So, which I thought also was not. It's just not. That's not an embarrassing result for this team. That's the quality that we have in this team. So
I think the best US has gone at the World Cup. I think it was, I think the quarterfinals. That was 2002 World Cup, Korea,
I
Japan.
remember I stayed up until 2:30 in the morning every morning to watch those. We beat Mexico in the round of 16. And this World Cup format does lend itself, and being at home will lend itself to a U.S. getting a little, maybe possibly a little further and winning 2 knockout games. It is a little easier to get out of the group than it has been in the past. And so we'll see.
And then I think I remember Landon Donovan. That was the star man of the US in that at that World Cup. Since then, I haven't seen much when it comes to. I think there's also a guy they called O'Brien. I don't know if you remember the guy called O'Brien. I think he played in the Premier League then when he was. I can't remember his first name now, but it seems his last name is O'Brien. And then we had one Fulham guy who was also playing for the US in that team. I'm
I
trying to.
remember Brian McBride. I remember Clint Mathis. I
Yes,
remember
Yes, Mark Bride. Yeah, it's Mark Bride,
Cla-
not O'Brien. Yeah.
McBride. I remember Claudio Reyna on that team. So they had some talent, but again, I still feel like this particular team, again, I feel like if they made a run, that'd be awesome, but I don't see it. What about Belgium, George? What do you think their fans should expect? This is again, their team are all in top 5, top 8 leagues in Europe. Are all in leagues better than MLS, I would say. They're just past the golden generation. They might have one or two of the golden generation players playing. Obviously, Courtois will probably start in the World Cup. Kevin De Bruyne played today. Will likely get minutes in the World Cup. Other than that, I'm not sure how many of their other golden generation players like Lukaku will get in this squad, like Vertonghen, like Vermaelen. But they still have a lot of quality around the pitch. What do you think the expectations for them in the World Cup are?
The time we all expected Belgium to win the World Cup when they had that golden generation, it never happened. This time around, I don't think they have what it takes to challenge teams like France. If you look at the French team, that team is highly loaded. And if you look at the way they play, they have very quality players. You look at teams like Argentina, even the English team. I'm sure if the English team plays against Belgium, Belgium will struggle to beat them. So, and then we have Spain. So these are teams that are favorites when it comes to the World Cup. Belgium, I don't think they are that team that will go all the way and win the World Cup. I'm even more confident with
Is
the Croatian team than the Belgian team.
Is it disappointing? Would this Belgian team, if they lost in the round of 16, is that disappointing, or is that where they're at as a team?
Well, for me, it's the level they are at this point because
This level
they
they're at.
they don't
Okay.
have. I think there was a time most of the Belgian players were doing very well. They were playing for top teams. It's no more like that now. Most of the players you see, either they are playing in Benfica, Sporting Lisbon. We just have few of their players who are playing in top class. Maybe people like Thibaut Courtois, who is the goalkeeper of Real Madrid. Most of the players now are not playing at that top teams that we've always seen them play at before
Yeah.
now. So it's
We'll see.
definitely going to impact on the team.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that golden generation oftentimes was less than the sum of its parts. Like 1 + 1 + 1 sometimes equals 2. I don't feel like they connected very well. I feel like a lot of times golden generation are when a lot of attacking players mature at the same time, and those players tend not to be run as much, and kind of players who are still fighting to go up the chain do tend to run a lot harder. I do feel like France has that problem with Mbappe, and Mbappe is good enough offensively that it doesn't matter. But that can be a problem if he doesn't produce offensively in a single knockout game. No, there's no flawless team like there was in Spain 2010, where you basically need to play a perfect game to beat Spain, and nobody did that, except for Switzerland. Yeah, I think this Belgian team is more capable than the U.S. of making a run. But I think that they'll be disappointed with the round of 16 knockout. I think their level is I think they're one of the top 8 or 10 teams in the world.
Well, I agree with you. I think if you mention top 10, they should be among the top 10 teams in the world. But I feel teams like Portugal, Spain, France, and Europe and Germany, for me, I see them as teams that are ahead of the Belgian team, if you ask me that.
Well, George, over the next couple months, we'll have plenty of time to preview and make World Cup predictions and change those predictions. But let's close out today. A couple questions. Number one, who is better, Christian Pulisic or Jeremy Doku? Number two, is this U.S. team going to make it out of the knockout, make it to the knockout phases? It'll be really interesting to see. Is that their level, knockout at round of 16 again, or are they capable going forward? Should they be okay with that? And number three, what about Belgium? What is their level? Are they a team that if they get knocked out in the round of 16, is that their level, or are they really hoping and striving for something bigger than that? Let us know your thoughts. Thank you for listening.